So Rumi was always around music. I came here today thinking that, okay, we watch movies to feel, you know. Like, there's horror movies that we can experience the horror. There's romantic movies, we go crying, we watch it, we feel the same. But these are virtual. So it's not the personal experience. And I wonder how we can experience how Rumi felt, because his work is full of feelings. He cried a lot. He danced often. He would dance every night, on every occasion. He had musicians next to him that would play. He would do a Berlin Dervish dance that he made it up and create poetry. That's why the music of the poetry I read for you has that rhyme of music. بجوشید که ما اهل شعاریم، بجز عشق دگر کار نداریم. Boil, that we have nothing to do but to be in love, to love. در این خاک، در این مزرعه پاک، به جز مهر، به جز عشق دگر تخم نکاریم. On this earth, in this life, in this beautiful garden, except for kindness, except for love, we do not sow any seed. چه مستیم از آن شاه که هستیم، بیایید که تا دست برآریم. Oh, so drunken we are, so happy we are. So drunken we are without alcohol. Because we arrived at that beloved place, at the king's palace. Come and let's dance. چه دانیم که ما دوش چه خوردیم، که امروز همه روز خمیریم و خماریم. مپرسید ز احوال حقیقت، که ما باده پرستیم نه پیمان شماریم. Do not ask about the truth. That we worship the wine of God. We don't count how many cups. There's a story of a man who was crying a lot. I'm sorry, everything's about crying tonight. But I want to tell you that gives you a better laughter, trust me. That's what Rumi says. If you can deeply experience that, then you don't have to fake for the photo. It just comes out. The story is about a guy who lost everything and lost all his friends with everything, all the money that he had that was given to him by his parents after they passed away, inheritance. And now he's alone and lonely. So he cries to God, please God, give me more, give me something. This time I know, please. And you know, so many pleas, and finally he has the answer. And the answer is, he was a man who knew how to hunt. So take your arrow and bow and go outside the gate on that location. He sees that in his dream. And then dig wherever the arrow is dropped. So he goes out and he starts shooting. And everywhere he goes, he's gonna dig. There's so many holes outside of the city. And no treasure. Then people think he's crazy. They go, tell the administrators, and the emir of the city comes and says, "What's the story?" He says, "Oh, I saw this dream. I'm sure it's true." So now the soldiers come and dig. So outside a city full of holes and nothing. So he goes back, crying again, looking for answer. And finally, the same voice comes back and says, کو بگفت در کمال تیری بنه کی بگفتد کندر کش تو زه. He says, the voice says, we told you to go put the arrow in your bow. We didn't tell you to pull it. So he kept pulling because he was a hunter, so he knew how to do this, He was like posing, he was really proud of his tact. So he goes out again at that location and he put the arrow, he doesn't pull it, drops, and he digs and the treasure is there. Now, what Rumi takes from this story is very interesting. He says, a lot of times everything is right there. And we hear it and we go try so hard. Because we're so much into our own tacts. He knew how to do it. So he wanted to feel good about, doing that. ای کمان و تیرها برساخته صید نزدیک و تو دور انداخته. It says, oh, you who keep shooting, the prey is right next to you, is within you, and you're always looking outside, far away. Whoever shoots further is further away from the truth. The one who is a philosopher, I would say, yes, فلسفی خود را از اندیشه بکشت گو بدو کو راست سوی گنج پشت. The philosopher kills himself from thinking. Tell him that his back is to the treasure. He just needs to turn back and feel and see. We do a lot of thinking, do less feeling and do less action, and less seeing. ای بسا علم و ذکاوات و فتن گشته رهرو را چو غول راهزن. بیشتر اصحاب جنت ابلهند تا ز شر فیلسوفی میرهند. خویش را عریان کن از فضل و فضول تا کند رحمت به تو هر دم نزول. Rumi says, it's his words on this story, his teachings. He says, so much you know, and so many tricks you learned, and degrees you got. But that's, for the most part, would keep you away from the truth. You go so much into I'm a doctor, and you forget that you're a human. You are a lawyer when someone asks you who you are. But then, where is your feeling? You look at everybody like a client. Especially in this city, it's very relevant because the loneliness is pretty deep. And we don't have as much a sense of a community, meeting each other as human. Most of the people in heaven are foolish, Rumi says. بیشتر اصحاب جنت عقلن. They're not so smart. Because they've been running away from cleverness, from thinking too much and philosophizing too much. You like that, eh? خیش را عریان کن از فضل و فضول تا کند رحمت به تو هر دم نزول. Empty yourself from these titles and ideas and your cleverness. Then the blessings shall come to you easily on itself. That's how you become that beloved. Not by planning and being very clever and executing, oh, I'm the smartest man in the world. Only I can do it. No. Be broken. Especially if you're smart. Leave that behind. زیرکی ضد شکست است و نیاز. زیرکی بگذار و با گولی بساز. The cleverness is opposite of brokenness. If you're clever, you never admit defeat. You're never vulnerable. Because I lost? No way. Because that cleverness will be broken. It's part of your ego now. And Rumi says, because it is the opposite, cleverness is the opposite of brokenness and neediness. You should leave cleverness behind. So this is for the person who's clever, of course. You know, some people are not. And Rumi's word is exactly to people like him because he was clever before. And he left it behind to become Rumi. Otherwise, he was a very, very successful preacher, a dean of a university, one of the greatest of his time, but we would never have talked about him today if he didn't leave that cleverness aside. If he didn't start to feel and be a human who can love without that calculation. He says, leave that cleverness behind and act like a fool. زیرکی دان دام برد و طمع و گاز تا چه خواهد زیرکی را پاک باز تا چه خواهد زیرکی را پاک باز. Remember that this cleverness is a trap. Is a trap that brings out your greed, makes you live in that emotion. Because now you calculate, I have this much, then I can have more, and it's never enough. And this greed is misery. It's not liberating. Rumi's message is for freedom. not for misery and wanting more and more that you don't need. It's a trap. That cleverness in you is the trap that brings out the greedy part of you, the calculative part of you. Especially if you're clever, put it aside. Imagine you're a fool. You won't become a fool. You're clever still. But then, if you intentionally put it aside and not use this really clever mind of yours, then you can feel. I know it from personal experience that when you really love somebody, you really feel amazing that you have a friend or someone in your life. The moment I start thinking, okay then, so what if this and what if that, this feeling goes away. And this is a simplest way that I can explain it, but I'm sure many of us here experience that. It's the same in the path of God, in the path of truth. زیرکان با صنعتی قانع شده، ابلهان از صنع در صانع شده. The clever ones are satisfied when they have a craft. They're the best of something that they do. But the ones who left this cleverness behind, looking at a creation, they see God, they see the beloved. Farid John, do you want to do more music for us?
Absolutely.
Please.